What is going on, boys and girls? My name is Agent Psycho, and I'm bringing you guys the 14th chapter to my Exploring the Arsenal series featuring me, Agent Psycho, aka Toast Number 98. And in this episode, or this chapter rather, we're going to be covering the K1A, the submachine gun that you can unlock at the rank of Recruit. And it costs, I believe it costs 800 GP a day, so pretty standard for your lower ranking weaponry, or weapons of the type. Anyways, yeah, so let's get started on this K1A review. First impressions though that I would like you guys to take note of is that I do believe that the K1A is meant to be an assault rifle slash SMG hybrid. I mean, to me it certainly feels that way because the stats will reflect why I believe this, and also just the general feel of it kind of reflects the fact that it was meant to be used as an all-around kind of gun-ish, but then because of its designation, its official designation as a submachine gun, obviously it can't really fulfill the role of an all-purpose weapon that well. But we'll get into the stats, and you'll see. Hopefully, you guys will see what I mean. So the damage on the K1A is on the higher side of things for submachine guns, that is, at 35. Now, I'm going to be bringing up the VB Broppy LPO2 a lot during this review, and if you guys haven't seen that review or my review on the Broppy already, and I advise you guys to go do so right now because I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the K1A and the VB Broppy LPO2 a little bit here. But yeah, the damage is on the higher spectrum for submachine guns at 35. The portability on the K1A is at a 70. This is rather low for submachine guns because, in fact, it's on par with one of the fastest submachine one of the fastest assault rifles out there. With I believe the AT-22 also has a portability of 70. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at least I think that's what the stat on the AT-22 said. But whatever. For submachine guns, it's pretty slow, but generally it's pretty fast. Moving on to the rate of fire, its rate of fire is also on the lower side of things at 82. Granted that I'm going to be comparing this to the K1A to NX standard guns, but I feel like it's appropriate. Like the T2, the FMI SAF, and the VB Broppy LPO2, they all have 90 rate of fire. So compared to that, and I believe the MP7, the MP5 also has somewhere in the high 80s or something like that. So K1A definitely not your fastest shooting submachine gun. Then again, it is understandable considering the balancing issues, especially for a GP gun that you can unlock at Recruit. So I mean, come on now. Moving on to its accuracy. Its accuracy is on the very high side of things for submachine guns at 70. Now, even the T2 and the VB Broppy LPO2 and the FMI SAF, all those good OP submachine guns, they only have accuracies of up to 66, 67 or something like that. So even the K1A is more accurate than those overpowered submachine guns, air quotes. The recoil on the K1A is also on the lower tier for submachine guns at 63. This is to counteract the fact that it does have a low rate of fire, so along with it, it has low recoil. So kind of, it could be seen as a double bonus because low recoil and low rate of fire means that you are able to place your shots more accurately, but it's subjective. You guys can go either way with that. Moving on to recoil spread. The recoil spread is pretty minimal for a submachine gun, even for a submachine gun, that is. It won't spread out too much, even if you are spraying and firing and running around at the same time. So definitely the spread isn't going to be much of your concerns as long as you keep to close quarter combat. Though if you go off into far middle range or anything beyond that, then you're gonna have some problems with the K1A's spread. But of course it's a submachine gun, so what can you expect? The recoil kickback is also pretty low. I don't feel like it jerks around too much, or I'm not bothered by the fact that it sways around a lot whenever I'm spraying at people, so for me it's not an issue. Moving on to the recoil controllability. The controllability on the K1A is excellent. Burst firing is also very, very helpful. Though you may want to be careful of the fact that if you spray at middle range, because of its pretty steep damage drop off, you're gonna find yourself spraying at an enemy constantly in order to try and kill him, because I do have problems just like the VB Broppy LPO2 and putting someone down at any range other than a close range. So yeah, you may want to control your shots for anything beyond close range. Makes sense, right? It's a submachine gun. Moving on to the Tapfire ability, its Tapfire ability, if I can even speak right, is actually surprisingly pretty good for a submachine gun. Then again, I did mention the fact that the K1A is, or to me, it feels like it's meant to be a hybrid of of an assault rifle and a submachine gun. So thus, its Tapfire ability combined, that's the word, with its pretty high accuracy for a submachine gun and its pretty low rate of fire, because you need a little bit of low rate of fire, because if you have too high a rate of fire, like for my SAF or the T2, then your shots are gonna go all over the place, and you'll find yourself like struggling to fire even one bullet at a time. So it's nice that the K1A has an 82 rate of fire, so that you can actually tap fire somewhat. Though then again, because it is a submachine gun, if you tap fire too fast with it, then you're gonna have some problems with it too. So make sure you tap fire. Make sure to be careful whenever you're tap firing with the K1A, and you should be good. Moving on to its sprint drawback. Its sprint drawback for the K1A is I want to say it's pretty average. I don't feel any different from it, or average for submachine guns, that is, because I mean submachine guns are meant to be close quarters weapons anyway, so the draw speed, I expect the draw speed to be pretty fast. Well, not draw speed, the sprint drawback speed to be pretty fast. And moving on to the draw speed, speaking of which, the draw speed is actually very fast, even for a submachine gun on the K1A. Like, just like that, it's ready to go. It's much fast. It has the same draw animation as the K2 and the K7 for that matter, but we'll get into the K7 review sometime later along the road. It's faster than the K2 by far, so very fast draw speed. You'll definitely enjoy that. Moving on to the center speed. The center speed on the K1A is pretty fast. It is a submachine gun, though, so I mean that's to be expected. But it is remarkably fast, even for a submachine gun. I think it's even faster than the T2 center speed, but I mean I haven't used the T2 in a long while, so I might have to check up on that. But for the time being, it's pretty fast for in terms of center speeds. And moving on to reload speed. Reload speeds are also very fast as well for submachine guns. I feel that you can easily just run and gun with the K1A, and if you have to reload, then you can decide to take the time in order to reload in the middle of a gunfight, because it's not really gonna take all that long. But then again, if you're reloading in the middle of a gunfight, you might as well take out your sidearm. But then again, its reload speed is pretty fast, so you can gamble for that. Moving on to the fire modes, the K1A only comes with one fire mode, and that is fully automatic. Moving on to its luck, I feel that the K1A is pretty lucky, not all the time, but it'll reliably get you a headshot whenever you are in a clutch situation and you need a headshot. Maybe about 70% of the time, I don't know. If you do aim for the heads, then obviously it'll give you a much greater chance, but in the off chance that you aren't really aiming for the head, just maybe like the middle torso or upper chest or something like that, and that the spread happens to go big enough to cover their head, then yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's pretty lucky, but all in all, you shouldn't really rely on it unless you're going for unless you're actually aiming for the heads. Moving on to its muzzle, or not the muzzle noise, that's not quite there yet. The key physical characteristics. The K1A actually looks similar to the K2. Only it's like middle gun body frame, or whatever you want to call it. A dead giveaway to recognize the K1A is the fact that it has a kind of a folding stock protruding out of its buttstock. Yeah, I know, protruding buttstock. Silly jokes aside. But yeah, if you see like a really thin folding stock, then most of the time it's a K1A. I can't think of any other weapon at this moment that actually has a folding stock, but I could be wrong. I'm just an idiot for not remembering that, but whatever. Sue me. Anyways, moving on to its muzzle noise. Here we go. It sounds exactly like the K2. Either that, or it's a few decibels or a few frequencies higher. Yeah, that's all you need to know. It just sounds exactly like the K2. Moving on to the attachment options, you can attach any kind of modification on it, so nothing too special there. Moving on to whether or not it's fireteam worthy. No, it's not fireteam worthy at all, because even though it does have a high damage for for some machine guns is damage drop off is pretty big, so it's not very beneficial for picking off zombies at long range in cabin fever, blackline, what have you. So no. Quarantine worthy, I don't even think it's worthy for quarantine worthy either, for quarantine game modes, because fast portability is what you need to run away from them zombies. So I mean, the K1A only has a 70 portability, so why even bother? I mean, you might as well go along with the VB LPO2, which has 90 portability, for God's sake. So might as well go with that, right? Now moving on to my frank personal opinions. I really enjoyed using the K1A, but there are a few factors that really kind of tick me off and whenever I'm using it. First of all is what I mentioned, or the first thing that I feel like the K1A has a problem with is something that I've mentioned repeatedly in this review, and that is its damage drop-off. If you guys remember in my BB Broppy LPO2 review, I kind of complained that I didn't really like the damage drop-off on the BB Broppy LPO2 that much. And what I mean by that, basically, is that if I were to engage someone at any range other than close range, like middle range or even long middle range, I would need to have like 20 or 30 bullets just to put someone down at that range. And the K1A seems to have a bit of the same problem as well. I mean, granted, they both have the same damage stats, so maybe that could be why. The rate of fire is 8 less than the DB Broppy L2 though, but that doesn't stop the fact that doesn't stop me from believing that the K1A and the VB Broppy LPO2 both share a similar damage drop-off kind of game mechanic. How's that? So I don't particularly enjoy it, but as long as I keep my engagements or my firefights to close range, I don't have to worry about it too much. So that's that. And also, I feel like the rate of fire on the K1A is actually a lot higher than just 82, because I constantly find myself running out of ammunition and reloading it during gunfights. In this video, you'll see that happen a lot, where I need to like reload in the middle of a gunfight. And I think there was one instance where I got a multi-kill, but that last kill for the multi was like on my last 2 or 3 bullets, so that was pretty clutch at that time. So I don't know. Make sure to always keep an eye on your ammo counter, and make sure you have as many bullets as you can before you actually engage in a gunfight you know you're going to get yourself into. So that's a little bit of tip that I can give you right off the bat right there. So there you go. Let's see. That should be about it for my little note thingy for or my tips for the K1A and like things that you should know about this gun. So, oh, and also, before I forget, the K1A, like I said, is pretty good at tap firing, but like I said, coupled with its damage drop-off, I don't think tap firing is the best idea in the world, but I mean, it's got a pretty solid accuracy for a submachine gun, so you could go for those long-range headshots, because, I mean, obviously headshots are going to KO, so you might as well go for them at long range. And, yeah, that's another thing that I want to let you guys know about. Damage drop-off, not so good, so go for them headshots, and coupled with this good tap fire ability and pretty good accuracy even for a submachine gun, I suggest you guys go for those long-range headshots if you guys really need to. So since this video is going to wrap up in about a minute, I'm going to jump right into its final rating. So final rating for the K1A is going to be at an 80% at close range, about I want to say about a 70 at middle range, and then about like a 30 at long range, because I mean, like, I keep complaining about that damage drop off, right? So it's got to reflect in it somehow. And yeah, so that gives us a final rating of exactly 60%. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been the review on the K1A, and next we'll be jumping into the Spaz 12 family, coming up next in the next chapter. And hope you guys enjoy this last multi-clutch I get right here. That was so clutch. I believe the second place guy was also 1 away from winning, so that was quite the comeback. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed not only the little clutch at the last moment here, but also this review. So thanks for watching, guys, and look forward to the chapter on the Spaz 12. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Asian Psycho. I'm going out. So yeah, thanks, guys, and catch you later.